It is the day of the birth of Jesus of Nazareth. Multiple references in the Hebrew Bible have prophesied this occurrence and believe he will be the future Messiah. 3 kings, respectively from India, Persia, now known as Iran, and Arabia, rush to the scene of the infant's birth.
Hey, Balthasar, want to sew up a little? What is this? The Kentucky Derby?
Thank you, David. Gasper. I was just going to ask that myself.
You guys need to keep up. Tonight's the night.
And we have to be there the exact moment that Joseph and his bros are lighting up the celebratory Cuban cigars.
Gasper is right. Don't you think the parents will be a little busy following the birth?
Haven't you guys read Psalm 72 in the Hebrew Bible? We must bow before him.
Since you remind us hourly, yes, Psalm 72, how can we forget?
Holy Scripture says we're supposed to be there. Now pick up the pace, slowpokes, or I'll feed you to the camels.
What a grumpy cat.
Oh, and your highness? Can someone explain to me what the hell frankincense is?
True crime.
Sex.
Political conspiracy.
Celebrity gossip.
Murder. UFOs.
Crooked officials.
The occult.
Assassination.
Courtroom drama. Rape.
Corporate scams.
Scandal sheets. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Scandal Sheet. And welcome to the first of 2 Christmas holiday episodes. Now, my name is Thad Helsley, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Anuradha. Anuradha, we just did a great cooking show episode with you just prior to Thanksgiving, and it was very well received by listeners and viewers. I was just wondering, what feedback have you received since it was published?
Honestly, I was very surprised. I would say that probably a lot of friends watched this episode and heard this episode more than others. Some friends were surprised that I even had a food Instagram. I don't know how, they didn't know, but it was pretty positive. Yeah, and it was interesting because my family was curious why I picked that recipe. So once I kind of told them, they were like, "Oh yeah, that was really nice." So yeah, I was really happy. It was received well.
Yeah, it was really, really, really good. And of course, no episode of Scandal Sheet would be complete without our artificial intelligence engine, Bernice.
Hello and merry, whatever holiday. I can't keep track of the endless shifting political correctness with you idiot humans.
Thanks, Bernice, for that heartwarming holiday sentiment. Anuradha, one of the things we like to do here at Scandal Sheet is a little bit of myth-busting and examining the origins of certain institutions that don't always make sense. And because we are in the midst of the holiday season, we thought we would shine our heretical investigative flashlight on Christmas.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to have to change my address and go into the witness protection program. And to help us out, we are pleased to welcome back 2 frequent guests of this pod, New York City's multi-year super lawyer, David Grover, from the firm of Grover and Fensterstock, and his beautiful spouse, Jill Grover, a veteran of the pod, and she is a 31-year teacher in the New York public school system. Welcome back to the pod, David and Jill.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great to be here. Happy Thanksgiving, and I guess we'll be talking about Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yep.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. I was waiting for you to throw that in.
Can't forget that.
It's actually for the very, very rare. Christmas and Hanukkah both start the same day. Christmas Eve is the first night of Hanukkah this year.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting because there have been years when Hanukkah coincided with Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. So it's really all over the place, isn't it?
It is, but it's very rare. I'm sure it's happened before. I can't remember when, but it's actually the same night. So
wow. So according to Saturday Night Live, Hanukkah Harry and Santa Claus will be showing up the same night.
It might be a lot of traffic in the sky that night. Absolutely.
Wait, is that based on the alignment of, like, the
I think it's
stars
an
or
ancient
something?
lunar calendar, isn't that right?
Yeah,
like
it is. It has to-
whatever they
Oh,
were
nice.
celebrating
It
or
has to do
using
with the
back in
full-
Egypt
the new
1,500
moon or
years.
the full moon. It has to do something with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. That's like Diwali and Halloween were the same year were the same day
year.
this year.
Oh, is that right? Oh.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. No one knew whether to, put on a scream mask or put like a traditional Indian outfit on. So
I think that's why my students were asking if we had school that day, because some schools were actually off for Diwali.
Oh,
Wow.
The schools are
Nice.
starting to observe the Diwali, and I wouldn't be surprised if next year, in the next few years, my school starts closing for it too.
Oh, that's cool.
Because New York City schools have closed for it, I think, this year.
Oh, that's pretty
That's right.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
So, to kind of kick us off on this Christmas theme, I wanted to replay a clip from an episode we did in 2021, and it was called Big Apple Christmas. Now, Jill wasn't with us on that particular episode, but David was. And here he gives us a very astute explanation of why today's Christmas, at least in New York or America, has very little to do with actual religious faith observance and is mostly a secular holiday.
New York City's been called by many the capital of Christmas in the United States, and maybe even in the English-speaking world, right? So, and it starts with the Macy's Day Parade, broadcast around the world, then lighting the tree at Rockefeller Center like they did a couple days ago, also broadcast around the world in prime time. And then the Rockettes are literally everywhere in their little red outfits. And there's so many other examples. So clearly I know your local economy, you're all New Yorkers, makes $1 gazillion from this 5-week period, and no city on earth would ever turn that kind of an opportunity down. But here's my question to you guys as you live there and have for your whole lives. Does it make sense that one of the most religiously and ethnically diverse cities on the globe should be the epicenter of the premier Christian holiday? David, why don't you start?
This is New York City. We're the center of everything, aren't we? So, yes, of course we should be the center of New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving parade, like you said. But remember, when you say New York is the Christmas center of the country or the world, you're right. But think about everything you just brought up, right? You said the parade. You said the Rockettes. You said the lighting of the Christmas tree. What do all three have in common? They're all pretty secular. They're not that religious, okay? New York City is a secular town. It's not a very religious town. Yes, there are all different types of religions, and there are devout Catholics, devout Christians, Jews, Muslims. But the city itself is not that religious. So it's a big secular holiday celebration, not really religious. I'm not Christian, but I usually go see the tree, right? I mean, Thanksgiving Day Parade is not, but I go to Thanksgiving Parade every single year. I go there and watch it. I've been to the Rockettes. So to me, it's a big secular celebration without much of a religious component, really.
Jill, that was David's take on Christmas. Is there anything you want to add?
I do agree that it's secular, and I find that when I was young, and I'm talking elementary school, I lived in Queens, and my grandparents used to take us through Howard Beach in Ozone Park to drive to see the lights. We loved it as kids. We don't celebrate Christmas, but we love it. And actually, 2 years ago, we took our daughter, who was probably 16 at the time, to Dyker Heights in Brooklyn. So it's the same thing. We just love the colorfulness of it and the happiness that everybody feels. And it's just a great time of year. And it just seems that Christmas has definitely moved away from religion and more of a bringing people together,
right,
and just having a happier time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
By the way, Thad, can I correct one thing you just said before?
Okay, I'm sorry. Please.
No, it's okay. She said Jill was not with us in 2021. She had a small part in the cold open, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? You're right. She
Yes.
did. She was the person that said she was the little kid that asked for peace on earth and goodwill to all men, and everybody goes, "What?"
Prominent role.
Okay, I'm going to...
Academy Award performance.
It was an Academy Award performance. Yeah, you guys were all
Love
great.
that. And again, this is not a religious podcast in any way. It is not a critique on Christianity and the validity of those faiths. Both believers, people of other traditions, and non-believers can ask some very obvious historical questions. We just want to look at the facts, exactly as David does in his personal injury cases, and let listeners decide for themselves. Chief among these questions is, why is Christmas set on December 25th?
But even before that, let's go back to the beginning and ask, what is Christmas anyway? Bernice, can you help us out?
Christmas began as an annual festival commemorating the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, beginning in 336 CE. In the original Hebrew Bible, the coming of Jesus, or the Messiah, was foretold in numerous passages. For centuries, the Messiah's coming was expected to be as a savior and liberator of the Jewish people under Rome and other occupier states. The actual ministry of Jesus emphasized love, forgiveness, and an afterlife paradise for the faithful rather than a military revolt. The adult, historical Jesus probably died, by Roman execution, in or around 33 CE, after a 3-year ministry in the Roman-occupied province of Judea. While both Jesus and his closest followers were Jewish themselves, they largely failed to persuade the larger community that Jesus was their prophesied Messiah. Despite this rejection among most Jews, many millions of non-Jews and pagans converted and embraced the story of Jesus' mission throughout the Roman Empire. Decades after his execution, Jesus' followers broke with Jewish tradition and began to call themselves Christian. Christianity continued to spread and flourish throughout the Roman Empire until the first converted emperor, Constantine, made it the official religion of Rome, after 1,000 years of paganism, in 323 AD.
In a recent Pew Research poll, over 60% of Americans reported they practice no religion at all or none in particular. But thanks to the ubiquity of movies, TV, and media, I wanted to ask David and Jill, is it possible for a non-Christian to be completely ignorant of the Jesus Christmas story in America?
Absolutely, 100% yes.
Yes? Okay, you can be ignorant. Okay.
Yes, I celebrate the holiday. I celebrate the Christmas, the Hanukkah, the New. I know almost nothing about the origins of Christmas, about the story. I know the very basics everybody knows about the Christ and the resurrection. I know very, very little about it, but it's still the Christmas season. It's still the lights. It's still the music. It's still the parties. It's the food. It's the attitude. So yes, it's almost, I could almost compare it to my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Love
Same here.
Thanksgiving. Celebrate Thanksgiving. As I learned things in elementary school about the origins of Thanksgiving, I don't really remember the details. Pilgrims, Native Americans. I do not remember many details. It's my favorite holiday, but I'm relatively ignorant to the Thanksgiving story, just as I'm somewhat ignorant to the Christmas story. But I'm still able to celebrate the holiday season and enjoy it to its fullest.
Is that same with you, Jill?
Yes, it's funny. David and I were actually talking about this, and it's our son wanted to get a tree or a Hanukkah bush when he was little, and I said absolutely not, and he didn't understand why. And I said, well, it's a symbol of Christmas. And then we had Ethan, our son, ask the rabbi, and we're not religious at all. We're Reform. And the rabbi said, absolutely not.
Okay.
And it's because it's a symbol of Christmas, even though, to me, I don't see how a tree has anything to do with Christmas, because technically Christmas is a religious holiday, but because it's become so commercial, all the religion has gone out of it. And
and you're right. I mean, there are no trees in the Christian gospel. There's no trees. There's no tinsel. There's no lights. All of the stuff that you might associate with modern Christmas. Obviously, there's no Santa Claus, Rudolph the Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman. None of that stuff is in there. So, doesn't Hanukkah have pine trees in it? That's closer.
palm trees, but I guess because
palm trees, not pine trees. Okay.
Oh, pine trees. I'm thinking palm trees only because of of where, the climate of the, of the region.
Of the Middle East,
but
yeah.
Trees have nothing to do with anything. I mean.
No, you're right. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's bolted on. It's totally bolted on.
And it just makes it attractive to everybody. And that's why little kids want the trees, because it's so attractive and fun.
And their friends, I know a lot. There's a huge Jewish population in, the area where I live. So I've got a lot of friends, and they'll put up a tree, even though, it is just because they like the decoration. And they, and they'll sing Christmas carols. They'll sing Silent Night, which has a religious bent to it, but, or We Three Kings of Orient are. So I don't know, like you said, it is secular. I don't think people realize that there really isn't anything in those things that have to do with the actual, biblical story.
Mm-hmm.
Kind
of reminds me.
Unless you go to church for Christmas Mass and you go to midnight Mass, right? There's not really much of a religious component in terms of the days of the holiday. I have a lot of, actually, tons of friends who celebrate Christmas, obviously, and very few of them really celebrate the religious component of it. They may go to church on Christmas, but outside of that, there's not much more to it.
But I do know people who. You had mentioned before about not eating meat on Friday, so they'll do like the 7 fishes.
Yeah.
And then the night before, and then the big feast the next day. But to me, it's just symbolic of just good food and wanting to be with your friends and your family and celebrating just the joyous time of the year. And then after Christmas is over, it's kind of like, well, now what? It's everything's so bland. It's kind of sad when it's over. It's like, well,
that's true.
New Year's is over, and now we go back to regular life, and there's nothing really to be.
I know, and then it's like 2 months of just, oh my God, I got to get through
winter
this.
blues. It's the
totally.
You're like, how are we going to get through it? Yeah.
Except for Valentine's Day, but yeah.
So it's like anticlimactic. It's over. Yeah.
It's funny because about the tree, it reminds me of that episode of Sex and the City when Charlotte's like converting, and then she wants the tree, or like she's decorating the tree in like June or whatever, and then who she's converting for?
In June?
Yeah, because like who she's converting for, he's like, you can have a tree, it's okay, and she's like, no, like I want to do this the proper way. If I'm converting, that means no tree. So they like did like a Christmas tree in June.
Because that was like the last time she was ever going to be able to do it before she converted. I actually rewatched the entire series.
Oh my gosh.
I remember it. It was
the
really
best. Mm-hmm. That show was the best. It just reminded me of that. That was a funny episode.
Yep.
Okay, you guys are plugging HBO. I hope we're getting some money for this.
Might be apropos to this episode,
maybe
conversion.
Sure.
It's
that's right.
Yep.
Charlotte married a Jewish guy, and they had a conversation.
She had to give it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Anuradha, you're next up.
Okay, Thad. I generally tolerate the Bernice history stuff. Sorry, Bernice. I know you're just doing your job, but can we please get back to the original question? Why is Christmas on December 25th?
Sure. And I just wanted to establish a baseline for why the holiday even exists to begin with. I mean, historically, it became a religious observance in a particular faith tradition, but as we've been talking about, that's not the case anymore. So David and Jill, this is where I want to bring you guys in. I mean, we want to throw you some historical facts. And with your objectivity of being non-Christians, in the case of David as a lawyer, in the case of Jill as a teacher, we just want to know what you think. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. And
okay.
I think they had to pick a date, right? Like you said, this didn't come out till years after the birth of Christ, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously, a lot of the world was pagan and celebrating the winter solstice and Saturn in December.
Okay, you're getting way ahead of us now, Dave. Don't give away the headline.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
give away the climax.
but it's okay. But they had to pick a date to celebrate it. They had to promote their religion. Again, I'm going to compare it in a sense to Hanukkah. Okay, not exactly the same thing, but what happened is Hanukkah was always a holiday. Hanukkah has been around. There's documentation of Hanukkah from thousands of years ago. Right?
But it's not a high holiday, right? It's not like Yom Kippur.
It's a festival. It's not even a...
It's a festival. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
And it didn't get big until like the 1900s, really. It's maybe the late 1800s and then the 1900s.
So you're saying that it's sort of like kind of went on Christmas's coattails?
I think Jewish people, and especially in this country, kids, they felt kind of left out during the Christmas season. So I think the Jewish community intentionally made Hanukkah, at least publicly, a bigger holiday than it ever was. It really was. It became a major holiday because of when it is.
Isn't there a giant menorah in Rockefeller Center right next to the tree?
Yes, and it's funny, and this even became big, and I was going to go to that point too, which is...
Oh, you were? Okay.
There's a Hasidic, the biggest Hasidic, the Chabad, I don't know if you heard of them. They're the biggest Hasidic community, I believe, in the world, very active. And years ago, the Rebbe, the leader, who a lot of them think is the Messiah, actually, he was a very revered figure.
Really?
He's the one who came out and said, we should really, I'm very much paraphrasing, push this Hanukkah thing a little more to really connect with more secular Jewish people. And they came out and they got really big with the menorahs and really big with the... So they really pushed it almost for the same reason as perhaps the Christians did back 2,000 years ago, which is, it's, in their minds, obviously it's all true. It's all part of their religion, but it's almost a good way to get people involved more in this religion by making the holiday something they can relate to. So and I think that's kind of the point with Christmas, that they really wanted to get everyone on board with this religion. They wanted to get people away from being pagan. And I think by pushing this date, December 25th, it was a perfect way to do that.
Young lady.
So, in today's accepted translations of the Holy Bible, which represents all Abrahamic traditions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and is still the best-selling book in publishing history, 85% of it is basically the original Hebrew Bible, word for word. But in the New Testament portion, the main stories most people know about are the four Gospels, today called Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. But the story about the birth of Jesus, aka Christmas, only appears in two of the four Gospels, Matthew and Luke. And then even relatively briefly there. Why would two authors leave the birth of Jesus entirely out? Also, no actual date for the nativity is stated or implied. So what does that tell you two as a litigator and teacher?
Yeah, to me, I'm thinking of it more of my limited knowledge of religion and of the Old Testament. So how I look at this is, and a lot of Jewish scholars will tell you, and I suspect that you can confirm this, that the New Testament is similar, which is you're not really supposed to take the Bible literally. I don't think these stories are all supposed to be, they're supposed to mean something, they're supposed to symbolize something, they're supposed to teach you something, okay? If you read, there's a lot of things in the Bible that are unusual. Whether we talk about Noah's Ark, right? We could talk about how that played out. We talk about
Adam and Eve.
Sarah giving birth at 90 years old, right?
Yeah.
And then if you look at technically about when there were a handful of people there and people marrying their sisters, it was a lot of unusual things. And I don't think, in my understanding, and I'm pretty sure New Testament's the same, is you're not really supposed to take it literally. It's supposed to be a teaching moment. It's supposed to be deeper than that.
Well, let me just add there, my friend. There's a lot of people in the millions, the tens of millions, that do take both the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament literally, word for word, literally. And I some of them are my relatives, so I've had this argument many times. I hear what you're saying, and that is the liberal, point of view. These are just stories, but no, you can't.
No. The point is, they're not supposed to be stories.
Okay.
They're not supposed to be.
What are they supposed to be?
And I'm not saying this from a modern point of view. I'm talking about. I've heard even very religious people say this. So the Bible is not supposed to be a storybook. It's supposed to be have deeper meanings and lessons involved in it. So the stories you're not supposed to look at the story. Oh, what is this story? How does it match up? Different time, different world, and it could have been interpreted different ways. So I don't think the literal part of it is not me being someone in 2024 saying this. It's more of something I've heard religious scholars say.
I'm just saying that a lot of people will disagree with you, and they will say that the Bible, right from the beginning, let there be light, all the way to the end, is the Britannica Encyclopedia. Word for word, stenographic truth.
But a day, is it a day? What is a day in God's? So it says days, right? 7 days.
No, you're right. I mean, we could spend a whole and I've listened to it. But what is a day when there is no sun or earth?
Yeah.
Is it a million years? I mean, what is a million years to God if you live forever? So
yeah. So there's a lot of things, and that's so. To your point, to your question, is yes. So Jesus and the date and the birth and not being exact, that could be by intention too. That could be a learning moment. It doesn't have just because it's not in there doesn't make it wrong. I don't know if it's really that relevant, wrong or right. I think it's supposed to. It's if you believe in it, it's probably not there for a reason. Maybe a reason that you don't understand, and I don't understand.
Well, okay, Jill, I mean, the actual question that Anuradha raised was, is it meaningful that of the 4 authors that wrote the Gospels in the New Testament, only 2 even mention that Jesus was born? Obviously, we assume that he was born, but they didn't even think it was important. Does that mean something? The fact that there's no importance to it?
I mean, put it this way: when the kids have to write an essay, or when they have to have factual evidence, they can't just put something in there. They need to have supporting details.
Right.
And if the kids can't support a statement, it's not valid. They can't just write.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, two guys, 2 very important guys, that have these very famous Gospels, came to the conclusion, this is bullshit. We're not even going to include it. That sort of says something, doesn't it? Like your kids, right? Because you would say, we don't have no evidence. We have no evidence. We don't believe it. We're not going to put it in.
Right. And actually, that has come up very recently because of social media and Instagram and TikTok, that, people are taking things as they see it, and we really have to dive deep to see if it's true. And so that there's only 2 out of the 4 Gospels are making a statement,
right?
That could sway people from believing. I mean, I don't know even how to put it, but we had to take a professional development on researching things on social media to see if they're valid, they're true. Because a lot of things that the kids are seeing now, they're not true. And you can't and you could take a link and it could still be false. There's a lot going on now that this makes it interesting, that there's only 2 out of the 4. Why isn't there evidence to back it up? How come they left it out? Why did they leave it out? There's nothing in there or out there to prove it. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does.
No one wants to be in a car or a motorcycle accident or a slip and fall that causes physical or mental damage, and even construction accidents are on the rise today. But if you or a friend or family member are injured, you need a professional and understanding law firm that has experience in getting the most for their clients' injuries. And you can find all of that at the law firm of Grover, and Fensterstock. They are a premier personal injury firm located in New York City, and their track record is excellent. They have years of experience working and winning for their clients. Now, they offer a free consultation, and they only get paid when you get paid. So how do you get in touch with them? Well, you call David Grover at 1-866-99-LAWYER and mention that you were referred by the Scandal Sheet podcast, one of your favorite podcasts, of course. So David Grover at Grover and Fensterstock, 1-866-99-LAWYER, 866-99-LAWYER. You'll be glad you called.
Yeah.
So in order to sync up with the we should back up that a lot of the things that occur in the New Testament, the people that were writing the Gospels, there were many ancient prophecies in the Hebrew Bible, the Jewish Hebrew Bible, and the New Testament authors were beginning in 65 A.D., 70, 80, 90, many decades after Jesus was dead, were trying to make him sound like he was going to be the Messiah. And so they had to kind of make sure that all the prophecies related to the Messiah were reflected in this New Testament. And one of those prophecies, or not one, probably half a dozen, are that Joseph and Mary, Mary, the mother of Jesus, and her husband, Joseph, were required by the Roman census to return to their birthplace to register. They lived in Nazareth, and then they had to go to a place called Bethlehem because the Hebrew Bible said he had to be born in Bethlehem. Boom! So they're bending over backwards. But here are the two questions. Here's the first of two questions. So this is taking place December 25th. And the thing is, Israel, has a winter. It's not winter like winter in New Hampshire, but a winter nonetheless. They have snow, they have rain. Would a Roman census have been ordered in the middle of the winter? I mean, there was something like 4 million people in the province of Judea at that time. Would they have ordered a census in the middle of winter? Wouldn't they have done it in the spring or the fall? Would they really have all these people moving around the country in the middle of the winter? What do you guys think? I mean, this is just a question, a lawyerly question. I mean, if somebody came to you with a personal injury case, you'd be like, well, that sounds like bullshit to me. But you tell me, David.
Well, back to the symbolism part, right? About taking some of these things literally. And also, I don't know, I mean, global warming. What was the weather patterns back then? I don't know.
Well, they had snow. There's snow now. There's you can go look it up on Wikipedia. They have X number of feet of snow in Israel every year. I don't know how
but what
different
they have
it was
2,000 years ago.
Well, I mean, there is snow mentioned in various places. They had a winter. It's a Mediterranean climate, but that doesn't mean it's a desert.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they have seasons.
Could the dates be off?
That's the dates are off. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could be, certain things could be interpreted different. Also things are interpreted different ways, right? I mean, what does that really mean? So I look at some of these things as, like I said before, it's more symbolic than literal, but also how do we interpret what they said then to today?
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what we're trying to do. Jill, do you have anything you want to add? You don't have to. I'm just saying.
I don't have I mean, well,
because the next question it's just for you.
It's just based on people's interpretation of and also things get lost in translation as well. One person says it, it's like the game of telephone.
Oh my God, I almost put that in the game of telephone. Yeah, that is. I did that in grade school all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, one person says it, they tell the next person, and then it gets changed a little bit. So over time, maybe the stories have changed. Maybe the seasons where they had a move changed. And like David said, who knows about global warming?
Fair.
I mean, that could have had something to do with it too. But yeah, interpretation over time, and so many people over that time could have changed the story as well.
Yeah, of course.
So next question is you, Anuradha.
So this question is for Jill. So according to both the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, Mary was 9 months pregnant and gave birth to Jesus the night she arrived in Bethlehem. So I looked it up on Google Maps. Nazareth is literally 90 miles from Bethlehem, and it was mostly desert terrain. So Jill, you have 2 wonderful children, correct?
Yep.
Could you have walked or even sat on a donkey for 90 miles in your last weeks of pregnancy? Is that reasonable?
Oh, wait a minute. The last weeks of pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yes.
When she got there, she had Jesus the day she arrived. So she's literally in her last couple weeks.
She was about to pop, basically.
She was about to pop, yeah. She could not have been more pregnant.
You know, you got to give women more credit because
Really?
no joke, I worked out with a trainer till the day before. No, I'm not kidding. I walked miles. I remember in the city, we had something with Ethan.
You're ruining my rundown, Jill.
I'm sorry. I
It
could
is.
change my story and say women are weak and we can't do anything.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you're saying you walked
Damn
the
it,
Appalachian
Dad.
Trail when you were pregnant.
I'm not kidding. I walked.
She did.
Okay.
I worked out. I mean, I was in better shape then than I am now. No joke.
Didn't we go to a
Oh,
Donna
that's
Karen?
wonderful.
Didn't we go to a Donna?
There was a Donna
party?
Karen thing. Ethan was there. I mean, you can look it up, and you could find it
Donna Karen.
online. And there's a picture of me. There's a picture of David and Ethan, and I am literally ready to pop. And that was on a Sunday. And if it was Jordan, I probably gave birth like a few days later. I was able to walk, no joke, a lot.
Wow.
I moved a lot. I worked out. I lifted weights. Yeah. So
And Donna
Okay, well,
Karen's
you-
our witness. She was there too, so she could.
Donna Karen is a designer of women's
DK,
clothing.
you heard of DK? Oh, that. Yeah. You have a daughter. Come on.
No, I had girlfriends.
Come on,
and a daughter.
Dad.
I know.
DKNY is the
Yeah. Okay, got it.
offshoot of Donna Karen.
Yeah.
But we were there, and maybe she was having a children's line. Maybe she was launching that or something.
Yes.
I don't remember. But
I love that.
I walked a ton. Yup. So yeah, who knows?
Okay, well let me throw in. This is not in the rundown. I'm going to just throw this in. It's another mommy question.
Okay.
So according to again these 2 gospels, the only ones with the Christmas story. So there was no room at the inn. You know, Joseph and Mary show up at Bethlehem,
Yes.
very tiny little town at the time. They say, sorry, it's all booked up, but I got this stable. If you guys want to go there, you know, whatever, it's only going to be a few shekels. They go there, they have the baby, and then they put the baby. Now, again, it's all got to match up with the prophecies in the Hebrew Bible, right? And they say, Bethlehem, born in a stable. They put the baby in a manger, which is a feeding trough for animals, right? That's what manger means. So the horses, the pigs, whatever garbage they threw in there, that's what they eat. So they dump that stuff out. They put the baby Jesus in there. Okay, I'm just going to ask you as a mom, doesn't that strike you as a little unsanitary? I mean, would you put like a baby in a feeding trough? That would be like dumping out the kitty litter and putting your baby in there, right?
Ew, that's gross. Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's very unsanitary. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe over time it wasn't a trough. I mean, it's funny when I look at nativity scenes. Number one, you're telling me it was a trough. I had no idea that it was a trough. It looks like a cradle. So to me,
well, they always put a lot of hay in those nativity scenes,
right? But I guess the shape.
You don't know what it is, but it's in the Bible. I'm just talking about the scriptures because in the Hebrew Bible it says he will be in a manger, and then in the and again, the New Testament guys are basically have to do everything the Old Testament tells them to do. It's got to be a manger. So you're right, But the animals are there, right? In the nativity scene, like when you go down to
choice.
St. Peter's or whatever.
You know, you do what you have to do as a mother, and no joke. If that's the only place they
No,
can
I hear you.
Yeah.
But I mean, like when the three kings showed up with a chest full of gold, wouldn't you have said, "Hey, can you guys go down to 7-Eleven and maybe get some desanitizer or something?" I mean, because this is really gross.
That was what BC. So BCE
0
now
AD.
to be.
Yeah.
Now it's before the Common Era, after the Common Era. Now it's all BCE, ACE.
No, I know you're right.
Mhm.
You're the
That's-
teacher. You're right.
Yes, I learned that. And
It is CE. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't have, they didn't know back then. They just did. They used what they had, and they did what they knew. And I mean, look at all these. I mean, look at all the years that have passed, and we're still here. And there was no sanitary anything back then. I mean, yes, many people died from illnesses and disease, but we've survived so much, and so I guess they did what they had to do.
Well, you are just so forgiving. My God, you should be a Christian.
Yes, that's
So
the
let's see
teacher in
what's
me,
next.
you know?
That's me.
Yeah,
Thad.
it's you berating me. Yeah.
Thad, my dear, I seriously think
Ah.
you need some professional mental help
I
with
do.
all this history stuff.
Mhm.
Because no one wants to talk about that. Everyone wants to talk about the meaning of Christmas now, which is
Mhm.
beautiful tree, being with family, being with friends, celebrating the love all around you in your life, Christmas carols, the idea of gift giving and receiving, and of course food, amazing food shared with people that you love. So, I mean, it's great, right? The manger, shepherds, angel, all that, drummer boy, all that great stuff. But whenever I think about, Christmas, I don't know. I just really feel like the meaning is so much more different now because it really is about family and love and spreading love and also giving to those who are, in my mind, maybe less fortunate. So I kind of feel like that is what the meaning has become. You know what I mean? So I mean, the history is great, but I just feel like when people think about Christmas, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of what they think about in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that it seems more like what David was saying about Thanksgiving. It's become more of a national holiday versus.
Yeah.
I mean, Thanksgiving is not a religious holiday in I don't think any
No.
sense, but
Of course.
but Christmas has become more a national holiday versus just like a specific religious holiday. I think people want to celebrate it because it looks so fun.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so then I guess the question is, if the actual date couldn't have been in the winter, then why is it on December 25th?
The most loudly touted theory about the origins of the Christmas date is that it was borrowed from pagan celebrations. The Romans had their midwinter Saturnalia festival in late December, coexisting with the winter solstice, and Western European barbarians kept holidays at similar times. Christmas, the argument goes, is really a spin-off from those pagan solar festivals. According to this theory, early Christians deliberately chose these dates to encourage the spread of Christmas and Christianity throughout the Roman world. If Christmas looked like a pagan holiday, more pagans would be open to both the holiday and the god whose birth it celebrated. Well, it seems like the date was chosen arbitrarily. It's just that the
Exactly.
the date falls within a week of when the winter solstice was celebrated. And because it was such a celebratory time and people didn't go to work that day, they said, okay, you know what? 25th is in the middle of that week. That's where we're going to choose. That's the date we're going to choose. Now, I teach my students about this. I think it's the coolest
You do?
thing ever. Oh,
Okay.
I absolutely teach them about the solstice. And I get a picture, and I said, and I actually did this last week. I said, you might want to set your alarm, but the thing is, it's going to be at like 3:24 a.m. I said, you might not want to do that. You might be sleeping, unless you're playing your video games in the middle of the night, which they generally do. No joke. That's why they're always tired at school.
I know. Anuradha ridicules me for doing the same thing. But
the position of the Earth is at a specific point in the solar system, and the sun's rays are hitting the equator at a certain angle, and it was a big deal because, I mean, to me, I just think it's just cool science. I just like it. And that's why they celebrated it, because it has to do with the exact position of the Earth in the solar system and the way the sun's rays are hitting the Earth at the equator.
Right. And what I didn't actually put in there, which in a longer version, was that like the calendar that all of us use now and most of the world uses is called the Gregorian calendar, because Pope Gregory in the 1500s or whatever was the one that gave it to us. But the previous calendar was called the Julian calendar, which was the Roman calendar under Julius Caesar. And up to that time, it was pretty accurate. And guess what? The solstice, I mean, today in our calendar, the solstice is usually December 22nd in the middle of the night.
21st. Yeah. 21st. I happened to look at it. And it's mostly the 21st.
Okay. But in the Julian calendar, the calendar that would have been in effect when supposedly the historical Jesus was born, would have been the 25th. In their calendar. There we go. So there we go. And like you said, that holiday, Saturnalia, was like the Mardi Gras of the Roman Empire. Carnival. It was just everything rolled into one, man. Party City. Party City. So why not say, hey, baby Jesus, kegger, come on, let's do it. So,
Yeah, you ever see the movie Full Metal Jacket?
I have.
Okay, Christmas Day. On Christmas Day, the sergeant has his entire platoon sing "Happy Birthday to Jesus." They sing "Happy Birthday." You got to remember that. It's a famous scene.
Well, okay, yeah, I just saw a documentary about Stanley Kubrick. I don't remember that exact. I remember like. This is my rifle. This is my gun. One is for shooting. One is for fun. Yeah. Right. Okay. Happy birthday, Jesus. Okay.
They sing a happy birthday song to Jesus on December 25th.
Oh, they do.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So it worked for the movie. Whether it's real, I guess that's the podcast.
And there's all these people. I was listening to NPR today. That, they're always saying, "Well, what is a Christmas movie?" Was Die Hard a Christmas movie because it took place on Christmas Eve? So the whole thing was on Christmas Eve. Therefore, it's a Christmas movie. And I'm like, well, it's not exactly a Christmas story, or It's Sort of a Life. But
so Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, Full Metal Jacket.
Unless we decide at the conclusion of this podcast that December 25th is not the correct date, then they're no longer Christmas movies.
There we go. Yeah. There we go.
Up to our audience to decide.
So since our cold open was about the three kings, we should probably mention that. Anuradha, you want to talk about it?
Sure. Well, first of all, they weren't kings, and we don't know how many there actually were. Mm-hmm. So they are mistranslated as wise men in the original King James Version. And then in the original Greek, they were called Magi. Magi?
Yes, gift of the Magi.
That's it. Yeah, Magi.
They were called Magi, who were Iranian priests back then. They could also have been sorcerers or astrologers. So the only reason people think they were three of them is because there were three gifts. So the three gifts that are mentioned are gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
And what the hell is frankincense? Yeah, no, you're right.
It smells wonderful.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Good.
I have incense of frankincense.
So, last question for everybody on your audio YouTube. Why does it actually matter what day Christmas is on? And I think David said this right at the beginning. I mean, non-Christians don't care what date he was born on. Why would they? And most people who think he existed, think he preached ideas about universal brotherhood, love, and forgiveness. But lots of other religious figures like Moses, Muhammad, Buddhist,
celebrate his
Hindus also delivered similar messages. So does it change the important aspects of the Jesus story if Christmas was celebrated, let's say, on April 14th or even September 5th? I mean, other than retail sales, of course. I don't want to destroy the Macy's, Fortune 500 organization. But other than that, why should it matter? I mean, go around the table.
Well, I'll quote Bill Murray from the movie Meatballs.
It doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter. I'm not going to say it just does, and it doesn't matter. And I mean this for actually positive reasons, not cynical reasons. Okay.
Okay.
Whole point here is, if you believe in Jesus or don't, like you said, what he represents. The actual date doesn't matter. All right, we celebrate Martin Luther King Day on the third Monday of every January. That's not his birthday necessarily, right? But it doesn't matter. I know his birthday's around that. But does it really matter? We celebrate him and what he believed in and what he accomplished. So it doesn't, we celebrate Memorial Day in May. People died, our soldiers have died year round. But we celebrate that one day a year to honor our deceased soldiers, right?
So is that because it was Armistice Day in World War I or something? Or is that Veterans Day?
Yeah.
I keep getting mixed up.
Yeah, so, I don't think the exact date matters. I think what it represents matter, and we could see that in other holidays and other things we celebrate. It doesn't have to be that date to be meaningful if somebody wants to make it meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember when I was a little kid, we used to celebrate Washington's birthday and Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and now we celebrate President's Day. Yeah. And I'm not sure if it's either of their birthday. It's always a Monday because we like, everybody in the retail industry likes it to be Monday, right? Yes. So you're not going to put it in the middle of the week because you want a guy to go out and buy a car or a sofa or something. So President's Day sale. Dun, 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 dun.
Does not work on a Wednesday. We have to make it convenient.
I know that sucks. It's like, what am I going to do on a Wednesday? Come on.
But
I can't go to the Bahamas if you're only giving me 1 day, 3 days. Maybe I can pull it off. So
you know what? The Veterans Day is always on the date, which is interesting to me.
Oh, really? It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I only know this because we get that day off.
Because you're a teacher.
Always on a Monday. Okay. Yep. So that one changes for some reason.
That's strange.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It must maybe because legally it's on a certain date where the other holidays are third Monday. Like Christmas. Like maybe Veterans Day is like Christmas.
Christmas is always on the 25th now, right? No matter what day of the
Veterans
week it is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what day of the week.
Yeah. And Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is always the third?
The fourth Thursday.
Or is it the fourth Thursday? Okay.
Yeah, so that's
fourth
the difference.
Thursday.
Meaning Christmas and Veterans Day are on a specific date, whereas the other holidays are on third, Monday in January or fourth Thursday in November. So that's really the distinction.
But Hanukkah and Passover and the other Jewish holidays are like
the lunar
calendar. Who knows where the hell they're going to be? You'd have to look it up on Google.
Yes.
Right?
It changes every year.
We have no clue. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Every year.
Look it up. Like what? When? Hanukkah this year. Hanukkah this year, like you said, it's Christmas week. Sometimes it's November. It's all different. Yeah.
And I was going out with a girl who's like, she was Ethiopian, so they celebrated Eastern Orthodox Christmas, and it was like in January. And it was constantly shifting. Again, I think they're just using like an ancient lunar calendar from 1,000 years ago or something. And they're like, well, we're not changing. We
Well,
believe
Greek Orthodox is a little
Greek,
different.
all the Orthodoxes, Greek, Russian,
Yeah. They're a week later. They celebrate Christmas in January, right? Don't they? Yeah, that's right.
And same with Easter.
Same with Easter. Yeah.
Well, Easter is the one Christian holiday that does seem to change on a regular basis, which I'm not sure why that is either. Even
that could be a whole nother pod.
On the road to the priesthood, and I have no idea. Okay, guys. Well, oh my God, this has been like so long, and you guys have been so great. And I was like, really had a lot of anxiety because I thought David was going to bag on me because he thought I was trying to turn him into a Catholic priest or something. But just like, please follow or subscribe to Scandal Sheet on your favorite pod platform, and share it with all your friends. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a shameless, over-the-top rave review on Apple Podcasts especially. That helps us build audience. And we would really appreciate it if you could support us on Patreon, where you can enjoy premium bonus content for less than the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Just go to patreon.com/scandalsheet. Also, we want to hear from you. You can reach us online at Facebook or X, formerly Twitter, LinkedIn, or TikTok. Or just send us an email to scandalsheetpod@gmail.com. See you next time on Scandal Sheet!
Copyright 2024. Thad Halsley Media. All rights reserved.